All right, man. You hear? I was going to talk about the difference between Stafford and Goff, and where kind of Goff is excelling, what Stafford didn't exceed at, and I guess Matthew Stafford going into year two. Thumbs up the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. Next subscribe button is the bell icon button. Hit the notification, increase your chance to get notifications. We go live or drop a video. Now I told you, going to year two, obviously Goff had a great year. Stafford got injured. With some talks about with his injury that it could be career threatening. But then they said it wasn't going to be career threatening. But then you hear Sean McVay take a leave of absence and say that he may walk away after they traded all their assets for a Super Bowl, and they really don't have the draft picks in the cap space. And that's pretty much what Sean Payton did. He seen that the Saints was going to be shorthanded and he wanted to get out of a bad situation. So that's what happened when you risk it all, and that's why the most efficient way to build a team is through the draft. So nonetheless, one of the things I noticed, man, I was having a conversation with somebody at the gym, one of the guys that watched the channel, that I know is between Goff and Stafford that I ain't seen nobody talk about. But remember, I really don't watch a lot of YouTube Lions and Piston videos at all. It's a couple people I look at, but you know how the time is. So one thing I did notice about them, Matthew Stafford went through and I heard this, my friend say this, he a Raider fan. And he said one thing about Derek Carr can't put points up for a whole game. Derek Carr kind of could put points up in burst or short spans. And that's one thing about Matthew Stafford. Stafford can get hot for a period of time. Now, it's rare that you see Stafford stay hot for a whole game. Like with Stafford, it was either, like that year they made the playoffs and they had a lot of them comeback wins early on. It was like they got down and they just got hot, and he started putting points up at the end of the game. Or it's been games for Matthew Stafford to start hot and then they'll fade in the second half, or they'll fade in the fourth quarter and barely win, or somebody come back and lose the game. You know what I'm saying? And that's one thing with Jared Goff that I did notice about Jared Goff, is that when Jared Goff get into a rhythm, he in a rhythm he hot for the rest of the game. Unless they hit halftime. That's one thing about Matthew Stafford. Matthew Stafford cannot, kind of like he said with Derek Carr, he can't consistently put points up for long periods of time. With Jared Goff putting points up, putting touchdowns up, and not only in bunches but in an extended period of time. It's not like they have a drive and he be hot and then he may not have a good drive again or whatever. Like when Goff started getting into a rhythm and the play calling is clicking and Goff is dealing. Goff will sit there and Goff will be hot. Once he in the rhythm, Goff will get hot for the whole game. With Matthew Stafford, he'll score a touchdown and then, they couldn't get it in the end zone. They'll settle for some field goals and he'll go 3-and-out. And don't get it wrong, Jared Goff got his time where they go 3-and-out and stuff will kind of go wrong. But Jared Goff kind of more likely to put long drives together, and also his ability to get big plays. With Matthew Stafford, it was more about big plays. You know what I'm saying? Like with Stafford, it was about the big play down the field. It wasn't really that Stafford to chop you up down the field, long play drives, chop you up and get a touchdown. And if he did chop you up and get those big plays, they had a real issue with scoring touchdowns, consistently. With Jared Goff, they found a way with him to put the ball in the end zone. Now, one of the differences is with Matthew Stafford, they just refused to lean on the run game. That was a big issue. With Matthew Stafford, they refused to lean on the run game. They refused. But yeah, with Matthew Stafford, he one of them dudes that he didn't have the run game to really lean on like Jared Goff had the run game to necessarily lean on. And that I think that plays a factor into that. The Jared Goff, they running the ball. With Matthew Stafford, it kind of was like he was anti-run. They wanted to, slinging around, and they let Matthew Stafford slinging around, and they didn't really want to commit to the run. And with Dan Campbell, he has, and I think that's the strength of Jared Goff too, is the play action, and Dan Campbell has established a toughness. They went in there, for the up-team time with the Lions in the last 10, 15 years. They continue to draft in the trenches. And now, they setting a mentality that a hat on a hat, we gonna move mountains, we gonna be a physical football team, we gonna get downhill. And also the play action also also it allows them, or allows them to be able to, when they have injuries across the offensive line, it allows them to plug and play. So when pass rushers don't know whether to play the run or play the pass, guess what? They got to think for a split second, and that'll buy a guard or a tackle some time. So now you running the ball, you establishing being dominant. Now you mix the play action in. Now once you establish the run, the play action has to be respected for the rest of the game. And that's one thing that with Stafford, it just seemed like they just wanted to throw the ball around the field. And with Caldwell, that was a huge issue with Caldwell too, is that their offense under Joe Lombardi just sputtered. They couldn't run the ball. They couldn't get the ball the Golden Tate and Calvin Johnson and those guys. And under Joe Lombardi, it just really sputtered. But with Jared Goff, Jared Goff don't have no issue with handing the ball off. I don't think it's an ego there where he really, pat Stafford or like padding stats and want to get stats. With Jared Goff, they are willing to run the ball 20, 30 times or have more of a balance. And he understands once they establish the run, then the windows are gonna get wider for me. And, then I'll be able to go underneath. And now they're throwing in some shabbiness. They throwing in some shabbiness in there, and everything is off the run. And when you do that, that gets the offensive lineman. You want a 300-pounder going forward. You don't want a boulder moving backwards. You want a 300-pounder moving forward. And now, they establishing that toughness, and they establishing that run game. And that's why one of the reasons he's able to stay hot. That's why he putting yards together. It's just not solely on his arm and the running game secondary. The passing game and the running game is a partnership. It's a balance. On most Sundays, when they do what they want to do, it's a balance. Therefore, on first down, anything is possible because I have to respect the run, as the pass. And that's why they pass so much on first down, is because you got to respect it. I just think I would like to see them establish more of a run game on first down. But, that's why they passing game on first down is working so much, because you got to respect the run, in a more manageable situations with Matthew Stafford throwing the ball 30, 40, 50 times, and the running kind of being, as an addition. It's kind of being as a topper or whatever. Like for dog food, you do a little topper on top of the dog food. It's not like you mixing the meat in with the dog food. You just giving the dog a little bit of flavor. That's how the run game was. It just was a topper. It just was a topper for the Lions. And with Stafford, with Goff, it's more of a it's more essential to what they're doing. It's more of a partnership than just whipped cream or just a cherry on top of the cake or the cheesecake or whatever. It's part of the actual entree. So just wanted to speak on that for a minute, and that's why Goff is able to put points up and extend it at consistent clips, because it's more of a partnership with Matthew Stafford. I think it was more about passing, being a gunslinger, getting his stats. But yeah, let me know what you girls and guys think. Check out Detroit Lions Talk playlist. Thumbs up the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. Next subscribe button is the bell icon button. Hit all notifications, increase your chance to get notifications. We go live and drop video. Hit the link tree. Find me on Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, Spotify, Anchor, Cash App, Venmo, PayPal, Apple Podcast, Spotify, Anchor, Detroit Lions Talk playlist. More videos like this. Hit the link tree. Find me everywhere. It's the first link in the description. Peace.